no matter how valuable you are as an employee, how special you are, how smart you are not as important as the rest of the workplace.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
We're talking about Labor Day, and I was talking about people, fighting and dying for what we have, the freedoms that we have in and from the workplace, the time that we have off work, and what little freedoms we have in the workplace. And, they are little because in a lot of ways, when you clock in, you clock out of your position as a citizen, and you clock in to being a subject in a dictatorship.
Right. I mean, you leave your freedom at the door of the workplace, right? Your freedom of speech, your freedom of assembly, your freedom to organize, your freedom to, have input into what you do. All of that is left at the door, typically, in most workplaces.
Absolutely. So SORAP says he's here now. Great. And so we're going to talk about unions here in a little bit later in the show about, what unions are and what they can do to, give you more freedom, make you more of a citizen, actually, in the workplace as opposed to a subject. And so we're very much in favor of that. But we've got SORAB on the line now, and I'm excited about this conversation because, like I said before the break, he has served as the opinion editor of the New York Post. He has been a columnist and editor with the Wall Street Journal opinion pages in New York and London. He's currently a contributing editor of the Catholic Herald. He's founding editor of the online magazine Compact, author of a new book, Tyranny, Inc. Sohrab Ahmari, thanks for taking the time to talk to us this morning. I appreciate it. Okay. Yeah, not sure, not hearing Sohrab, but so we'll try to bring him on in another segment, and so we'll just go ahead and talk about unions. And so,
let's do that. Yeah,
one of the things, like, people I find today just don't know, really even what a union is, much less, how to become a part of one,
right,
and what they do in the workplace. And so, really all a union is workers coming together to fight for better wages and working conditions on the job. And that's really kind of the fundamental thing of it. And and that's the definition that I always use when I'm giving new employee orientations in my workplace, because even though unions do, you can win a union election and therefore be recognized by the government, and there's some amount of there are some benefits that come along with that. But workers were forming unions even before you got government recognition.
Right.
And indeed, people were organizing in unions and being members of unions when being a member of a union was literally a crime that you could be convicted of. They called it conspiracy. And so I have always felt that to only define a union as one that has won government recognition does a disservice to the people who came before us, and really kind of does not respect their legacy. And so that's always how I've defined it, and it really makes a lot of intuitive sense if you think about it for just a few seconds as to why working folk would want to unionize, why working people would want to be in a union. Because if a union is just multiple working people coming together to fight for better wages and working conditions, then it's obvious that they are going to have more leverage, more bargaining power together than they do individually.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
Because no matter how valuable you are as an employee, or how special you are as a person, or how, nice of an individual you are, or how smart you are, or what university you got a fancy degree from, you are not as important as the rest of the workplace. If you come together with your sisters and brothers on the job, then you are simply going to have more bargaining power, more leverage, more ability to take the value that you create for your workplace from your boss. And that's what it amounts to. Because they only give you, that's really the way that the job market works, is that your boss gives you the least amount of money and freedom and time and benefits that they can for the most amount of work out of you. And so you have to recognize that there's it's just business. I remember one time somebody telling a story about going to a different job for a higher wage, and his boss saying, "You're just in this for the money, aren't you?" He was like, "Yeah, I'm not here to make friends, that's for sure. I have church for that. I have, I have people that I grew up with. I have family for that. I'm here to make money. I'm here to provide for my family." And so, he left his job for a higher wage, and that's the same reason that people form unions. And the stats bear it out too. It's not as if, this is a simply an ideological commitment from me.
Right. This is not just theory.
Right. The stats bear it out. Union workers, members of unions, have higher wages. They have better health care. Union workers are the only people in the country left with pensions. And where unions have a higher density in the area, where there are more unions in an area, non-union wages are increased as well.
Right. It's a rising tide that lifts all boats.
Exactly. That's absolutely true. And we can see that actually with the UPS negotiations just a little while ago. I've talked about this on the Dale Jackson Show before, and so, people that listen to the Dale Jackson Show are going to have heard this, but it's worth repeating that UPS drivers in 2028 are going to be making $50 an hour, $49 an hour at their top rate. UPS is going to have a minimum wage that you cannot make less than of $21 an hour. Immediately after this contract was ratified, there were workers in Alabama who got a $5.50 an hour pay raise.
That's great.
And so, that is the union difference right there. And also, before the tentative agreement was come to by the union and UPS, the Chamber of Commerce sought to have President Biden intervene in the case of a UPS strike and stop them from striking. This is, of course, because in the short term, their profits would be affected as well, because UPS delivers 3% of the United States GDP. So UPS is a big role in the entire country, but also the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, which is not a government organization. It is the Council of Bosses and Companies.
You might think of it as a union of employers.
You might think of it that way. And but so the Chamber of Commerce, not only did they want to stave off these immediate profit losses that they would incur as a result of UPS strike, but they also wanted to undercut gains that Teamsters could pull from UPS that could be inspirational to others. And we've seen that inspiration already. We've seen Amazon workers, FedEx workers. We've had a FedEx worker on our show talk about how inspiring these contract negotiations have been, and how much and how they think that, wow, if these people can make twice as much money as we do and have a pension on top of that. UPS workers have pensions.
Right.
If they make twice as much money as we do and they have a pension, maybe there's something to this union thing. And we've been seeing that. We've had callers on our show. We've seen articles about this, reactions from Amazon and FedEx drivers, and that's exactly the kind of thing that the Chamber of Commerce is scared of. And so that is the union difference.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.